So just pretty much 2 years since it got first announced, Sand is going to be releasing into early access on April the 3rd. Never heard of this game? It's a cross between Rust, maybe a bit of Tarkov, as you explore an alien planet mostly filled with sand, gathering loot from ruins, taking on other players in these huge tramplers, and then trying to extract with your loot so you can get better upgrades for your next run. Hey RATBAGGERS, it's Jade. Let's go over everything you need to know about this game and whether or not it might be something you're interested in. Published by a tiny build and a small team out of Ukraine, these guys have actually been doing the hard work with lots of beta tests, closed and open. You may have seen a bunch of creators checking out just before Christmas, and they've been carrying on with them beta tests. The coolest part of this was being able to design your Tramplers, in my opinion. Big behemoths, very much giving me vibes of Last Oasis, but obviously in a much more steampunk feel. Huge addition, which I hadn't realised or come across in any of the news logs that I looked at recently, was a kind of zombie variant enemy that will now be in some of the locations you'll go and explore, making this game actually something a bit more interesting, because it was kind of dull just running around certain areas and only maybe encountering some players. It might suck to some, but I still like the idea of at least having something to actually fight while you're exploring some of these cities in case the server is a little bit quiet. Now they are perpetual servers, players can come and join and leave whenever they want. And the idea is that you try and extract with all your loot eventually so that you can then go ahead, upgrade your character and get new stuff for your Trampler. I did give it a shot with a couple live streams when we are able to, and it definitely had potential and promise. All different types of Tramplers that you can actually build, maybe more with mobility, others with just pure defense and maybe more attack minded, and you can unlock a whole bunch of armaments and traps that you can set. With all of these tests that they've had, they have absolutely improved their handling and movement, especially when you're on foot trying to shoot at other players or now these kind of zombie types. Steering and the Tramplers have been improved as well. I think it relied heavily, or it was too easy to be able to get into certain Tramplers and basically take them over and destroy them. And for sure the ballistics on it definitely needed improvement, but absolutely I think it's got potential. I'm curious to see how they're going to go during early access run, what more content they're going to be adding and making the whole experience a bit more streamlined and less buggy. You'll be able to join up with your pals on a actual Trampler altogether. And the ultimate aim is to make good with your loot that you've got from some of the cities or from other Tramplers and players, and hopefully extract in time. Keeping your Trampler absolutely functioning is going to be the most important thing, making sure you're repairing the pipes that get broken and strategically placing your module or control modules and stuff like that, especially with certain traps. So I hope that all gets a little bit more refined too. Big requests from the community that have been playing are improvements to the prevention of spawn stalking, so they're going to make some of the Trampler spawn points a little bit more safer. Also inventory management, refining and being able to move some of your stuff a little bit quicker and easier. Also character deletion, if you do want to get rid of your character and create a new one, you'll be able to do that now. And just lots of new compartments and Trampler customization. Various anti-cheats have been added, lots of new guns, sawn-offs and variations of shotguns and pistols and rifles, as well as new minefields that you'll be able to navigate with your Tramplers. And the introduction of some exploding barrels that you saw in the trailer, and of course the zombies, mutants, whatever the hell they are. Not 100% sure how it fits in with the story. Originally, this planet was basically part of an alternative history that human race in like the 20s discovered they could make spaceships, and they fought some giant war or something between them, and eventually they end up coming here because it was going to be rich, filled with resources. The planet's called Sophie, and if I remember rightly, that's along the lines of it, and you are just these explorers now trying to bring back these resources back to Earth. During its free open betas and stuff, it had almost a peak player count of nearly 20k players. That's pretty good. And they're doing all the right things to make sure that their servers are obviously healthy, stopping cheaters, and obviously innovating on gameplay. With all of these playtests they've been doing, hopefully it'll be a bit smooth launch than maybe their namesake style game, Last Oasis, which didn't maybe do enough of this stuff before it released and then had huge problems. Obviously this isn't a persistent world. You can't build bases, or perhaps, well, you could run around the actual servers for a while until eventually I think a little shutdown notice might appear, but it's not meant to be somewhere that you live in forever. You are meant to grab your loot and then get out. There was food and stuff in the game, but it's more to heal you, so not really strictly survival, more of just surviving against other players and that extraction mechanic. No news about whether it will come to console just yet, but Deadside, another game published by Tiny Build, has just stealth dropped on Xbox and PlayStation last week, and they've got a really good reputation for bringing lots of these types of games to Xbox and PlayStation. So I wouldn't be surprised, but it's probably going to be in early access a year, maybe even longer, before that's something they'll consider. I don't think there was anything like maybe sandstorms or weather effects in the game. I feel like that definitely needs to be something that gets added over time. The lore explaining what these zombos are all about. And it would be cool if there were really different types of tramplers. I'm talking like really tiny ones that you could potentially use, but maybe at the cost that you really won't have much inventory space if it's just something you want to do one run on to get one chest of. I think the limit for players was about 20, although I could be corrected there. Not too sure how it's going to pan out with its early access release, but once I find out more info, I'll deliver it to you once it releases, more than likely. And if I do make any content on this game, then it will be on my Jade PG 2 channel. That's where you might see me doing a bit of Deadside, Rust, Ark PvP, maybe even DayZ PvP and stuff in the future, so make sure you subscribe to that to see more about this game, potentially. Let me know what you think about the game. Did you actually get to try it? Did you see a lot of maybe Rust streamers playing it? I think they paid a ton of them to give it a shot. Could it have any chance of dethroning something like Tarkov, or is it its own thing? The April 3rd release date, not going to lie, does clash with a lot of other stuff got going on, like Atomfall and a few other bits and bobs, but I kind of like the idea and premise of this, so definitely think I will give it a shot. Now it's had a good amount of betas and testing, we'll see how it goes in early access. So, until next time, Ratbags, I'll catch you for more survival games news and info. Bye bye.